Advaitam, Chapter 3, Dṛṣṭāntas, Illustrative Analogies. The Upanishads declare that Atman and Brahman are one, yet this appears contrary to ordinary experience. Intellectually, one may appreciate the idea of a single ultimate reality underlying the universe, but the joys and sorrows, individuality and diversity that we experience every day make such a conclusion difficult to accept. It is relatively easy to accept the existence of a supreme reality, the source of all existence, order, and consciousness. The greater challenge lies in accepting that our own innermost self is not different from that supreme reality. To guide seekers toward this subtle truth, the Upanishads and the great Acharyas employ numerous Dṛṣṭāntas or illustrative analogies. While no analogy can fully capture Brahman, each illuminates one aspect of the teaching. One reality appearing as many. Clay and pots. Clay can be fashioned into countless pots of different shapes and sizes. Some hold water or grains, others as musical instruments, and yet others serve as decoration. Their names, forms, and functions differ, but their substance remains clay. Likewise, all beings and objects in the universe appear different only in name and form. Their underlying reality is one Brahman. Unlike the potter who exists outside the pot, Brahman is both the material cause and the intelligent cause of creation. Nothing exists apart from it. Thus, the clay is Brahman and the pots are the universe, including all living entities of names and forms. Similar analogies include gold and ornaments, iron and tools, and cotton and cloth. Ocean and waves. Every wave appears unique. Some rise high, some remain small, some reach the shore while others disappear midway. Yet no wave has an existence independent of the ocean. Its birth, existence, and dissolution all occur within the ocean. From the standpoint of reality, there are not many waves. There is only one body of water appearing in countless forms. Similarly, Brahman alone appears as the multiplicity of creation. White light and colors. Pure white light, when dispersed through a prism, appears as 7 colors. We assign different names: red, orange, blue, violet, but fundamentally they are nothing but light manifesting differently. Likewise, the countless forms of creation are only apparent differentiations within one indivisible Brahman. The knowledge that sees unity behind diversity is jnana. The Dṛṣṭāntas discussed so far illustrate the unity of Brahman underlying the apparent multiplicity of creation. We shall now examine a few more analogies that help reveal the non-difference between the Brahman, the absolute reality, and Atman, the individual self. The human body and individual cells. Human body comprises of several organ systems, each having a set of organs having defined roles. These organs are made up of fundamental units called cells, each performing specialized functions. Each one of these cells are unique and living. The human body consists of trillions of cells, all working together in perfect alignment. Every cell carries essentially the same genetic code, yet together they constitute one conscious individual. We never regard each cell as an independent person. Similarly, individual beings appear separate, but from the standpoint of reality, they belong to one universal consciousness. The sun reflected in dewdrops. At sunrise, countless dewdrops sparkle, each reflecting the sun. To an observer, there appear to be thousands of tiny suns, yet there is only one sun. The reflections depend entirely upon the sun, while the sun remains untouched by them. Similarly, consciousness in every living being is but the reflection of the one Brahman. The plurality belongs only to the reflecting media, not to consciousness itself. The space and pots. Consider a clay pot. We casually speak of the space inside the pot and the space outside the pot. But space has never truly been divided. The apparent division exists only because of the pot. Once the pot breaks, nothing happens to space. Likewise, the apparent individuality of the jiva arises only because of limiting adjuncts called upadhis. In reality, Atman has never been separate from Brahman. We now proceed to understand that the apparent limiting adjuncts or upadhis owe their existence only to adhyasa, the superimposition born of ignorance, that is, the reality and appearance. We will revisit the rope and the snake analogy. Imagine walking in dim light and mistaking a rope for a snake. The fear is real. The experience is real, yet the snake itself never existed. When knowledge arises, the snake disappears, not because something was destroyed, but because ignorance was removed. The rope alone always existed. Similarly, Brahman alone exists. The world of multiplicity is experienced through ignorance, avidya, and knowledge removes the false superimposition. Similar examples used in Vedanta include mother of pearl appearing as silver and a mirage appearing as water. Brahman is anirvachaniya, indefinable, and atindriya, beyond the senses, which is why the Upanishads ultimately resort to negation, neti neti, not this, not this. Only direct realization rather than description can truly clarify the reality. Every Dṛṣṭānta can only point toward Brahman, none can fully capture it. Clay truly transforms into pots, whereas Brahman does not undergo transformation. The ocean is affected by its waves, whereas Brahman remains ever unchanged. The human individual is not aware of every cellular activity, whereas Brahman is omniscient and all-pervading. The dewdrops that reflect the sun are physically different from the sun, whereas the true nature of the jivas are not different from Brahman. Space and pots are different physical entities, whereas Brahman alone exists. The rope and the observer are two distinct entities, whereas there is ultimately no second entity apart from Brahman. Every Dṛṣṭānta has its limitations. Advaita ultimately points to a reality that lies beyond language, logic, and comparison. Brahman cannot ultimately be grasped by words or thought. For as the Taittiriya Upanishad declares, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha, words and the mind return, unable to reach it. The analogies merely indicate the truth. Realization alone reveals it. The final question therefore remains, if Brahman alone exists, why does multiplicity appear at all? Vedanta answers this with a single word, Maya. The nature of Maya cannot be fully explained through logic alone, for it belongs neither to absolute reality nor absolute non-existence. It is only through understanding Maya that the apparent contradiction between unity and multiplicity is resolved. This is the subject of our next chapter.